Who's the first person that told you had a great voice?
It was pretty young.
Yeah.
I sang in my kindergarten talent show.
You did?
And I don't know why I really wanted to, I guess. But yeah, my mom said I would like sing when I was really young. But I remember at the kindergarten, I was the star of the show. People were like, wait, this 6-year-old can really like hold a tune a little better than
Could you hold a tune?
the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah?
It was pretty
What's
decent.
What's the problem with all these other kids? They suck.
They all suck.
Yeah, because kids like that age, I mean, it's cute when a bunch of them, I've seen been to both of my kids' concerts and stuff. It's cute when they all sing together, when there's a big group of them.
For sure.
Can somehow hide tone deafness in a large group.
Right.
But like individually, they stick out like sore thumbs. So you were good.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland, and I just was like so enamored by her. And
so kind of a theater kid, a little.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was in a ton of musical theater. Yeah.
You were.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah, I'm such a theater nerd. I definitely there was a point in my life where I was like, either I'm gonna go and make, kind of music or country music, or like, should I be in musical theater? And I kind of chose country music, but I did love being in theater. I just love to be on stage and perform and everything.
Oh, well, don't close that door. I mean, look at Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I would love, that would be crazy. I would love that so much. Maybe one day.
I kind of liked it as well. I was a Little Shop of Horrors. I played Seymour. There was a little bit. I could kind of carry a tune, a little bit, not tone deaf. And I loved the idea.
Yeah.
I loved the whole world of like the backstage and the curtains opening and hearing the people fill into the seats. And there's a different vibe, obviously.
Totally.
They're obviously cousins performing the way that you do now.
Yeah.
But there's something pretty special about that musical theater world, right?
Oh my God. And it's so collaborative. I mean, it takes such a big group of people to make it happen, and remembering lines. And I mean, the adrenaline is crazy. You're like, oh my gosh, this show's an hour long. I have to remember all of the steps and the moves and the songs and the lines. It was like, it's super challenging. Like, it really is really, really hard.
I like this for you. I like this. I mean, you keep doing what you're doing, but I like this as an opportunity or like an option down the road or something like that.
Cool.
That'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Can we talk about your physical health?
Yeah,
right now, because you were pretty. You shared a lot on the socials about your hip surgery and stuff.
Yeah, I got hip surgery April 1st.
What was wrong with your hips, Madeline?
I wish I had like a cool story.
Put your hands on my hips, you're gonna slide.
I know, I can't be shaking them as good as I normally do this time. Honestly, I wish I had a cool story that I got fought. A bear or something. But it's a hereditary thing. My femur doesn't fit in my hip properly, so it caused this tear of like a labrum. You have them in your shoulders and your hips, and basically it protects the nerve. And so mine had ripped, and it was exposing the nerves. So I had like a ton of nerve pain, kind of like up my back and down my leg for a while. And unfortunately, it just doesn't heal itself. So it just got really painful. And yeah.
So this wasn't hip replacement surgery. It was nothing like that, with some sort of repetitive thing that happened. This is just, is it fixed? It's done? I mean, look, you're here. You walked in. You look fine.
I know, I did. They put anchors in, and they basically, this is gross, but they shaved a bunch of bone off. That was why the recovery took longer, so that my hip can function properly. The other one has the same issue, but it's not, my labrum's not ripped yet. So there is a possibility down the line I have to get the same surgery on the other side.
Was it worse than you thought it was going to be, or better, or just exactly what you expected? Was it bad?
It was pretty bad. I would say pain-wise, it was okay, but it was just, I wasn't able to sit at 90 degrees for 3 weeks. And so I was just literally kicked back for so long, and just mentally not being able to, I couldn't sit anywhere. So I'm just lying on the couch. I watched every show ever, and movie, and just felt just weird, not working, or I don't know. It was just a weird. And then it was a dark time. For sure.
Visions, your mortality and all of that. You're thinking how fragile our bodies are.
Absolutely, totally. I took my legs for way granted before.
Were you so on stage while you were moving around and stuff? Leading up to that, you were performing in pain. Yeah.
So basically, I tore it, and you can basically scar tissue builds up, so it can protect the nerve a little bit. But anytime I would try to run or jump or move, it ripped the scar tissue off, and then I would be kind of back in. I couldn't be sitting in this chair for longer than 5 minutes without pain.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So were you you're just I have to go and do this, and the doctor's you have to fix this. This isn't something.
Yeah, he was it's because if you let it go, because it's just being continually injured, if you continue to shred the labrum like I was, I'd have to get a replacement of it, and they'd have to do like a donor one, and that's like a whole other process. So they have to replace it or fix it before you need it replaced.
You know what's cool though? That they can fix it.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
They went in with a camera.
Yeah.
He's like the coolest guy ever. We're friends. It's pretty awesome.
Out for the surgery though?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
All right. This is serious stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's serious. This was not that long ago. I feel like it wasn't that long ago on Instagram.
Yeah, it's been like 2 months. So I'm still like doing PT. I'm still like, trying. It's still quite sore and stuff, but I'm just grateful to be back and get to play shows again. I just can't like run and jump. If you've seen a Madeline Merlo show, I'm having a good time. It's my favorite thing. And so it'll be weird to not be able to like run around and jump and stuff.
Well, good for you. I seeing you kind of like sad and mad at crutches and stuff on Instagram. I was like, oh, poor thing.
Sucked. Yeah, crutches suck for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so, but now you're back. At least until you got to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
You're back with new music.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
Middle of the Bed. This is I love a title that tells a story all by itself. Middle of the Bed sure does.
Yeah. I think so. Middle of the Bed was the first song that I wrote for the project, and it was actually an idea that I had years beforehand, and it's essentially about you're going through a breakup and you wake up and you've forgotten that you guys have broken up, and your subconscious like takes a second to catch up. And so I wanted the production to feel like you're just kind of lying in bed spiraling almost. And it's this weird thing where like everything during the day, everything's fine, but for whatever reason, that like kind of late at night, you just have those like weird thoughts and you're like, oh, I hate this. It's the only time that I miss you.
Yeah. It is kind of weird, like how sometimes that can. Are you a good sleeper in general?
Yeah. Not really.
Is your mind spinning? How do you go to sleep?
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens to me. I don't know. I feel like late at night you have like weird. I just have a lot of anxiety and like shouldn't have said that, or like I overshared at that party, or what if this goes wrong? And then you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I need to chill out. Like it's okay, So I definitely relate to that feeling.
It is brutal that at that time when you're actually supposed to be going down and trying to rest, that's when your mind decides to revisit every event that might be slightly combative or something like that throughout the day. Okay, so this idea of like forgetting and then like waking up and being hit in the face with reality as well. That's a thing that happens to you kind of wake up and there's maybe I don't know, like what, 3 seconds of like, oh, okay, I'm awake, gotta get, oh shit.
Exactly. And I think that's just a human experience that everybody can understand. And as a songwriter, I love those things that are so niche and zoomed in. And I'm like, how do I write about that tiny 3-second feeling? Like that stuff is so cool to me.
Is there a hope that you have when you put a story like this together that I mean, you can't expect people to take something away from a song other than like enjoyment from listening to it.
Yeah.
But there's a nugget. I know that you really care about the people that listen to your music. You care about, and not the legacy is the wrong word, but the messages that are in your music.
For
so
sure.
when you're putting the lyrics together, you care about like what is in there, what message is contained in that for people to take from it.
I mean, there's no like at the end of the song, it's like, it'll be okay at the very end of it. But I think that so it's a song off an EP that I put out in October called One House Down from the Girl Next Door. Yeah. And the whole project, there's this line of trusting your gut. It's like, I know that this is not the right thing for me and it's really hard, but I know that there is something better that I'm going towards. And I think that song, there's like understanding in it. It's just listening to it going, I've been there. It doesn't have a concluding thought really, but it's just that eventually you won't feel like that anymore. It's just this tiny little moment at night, and that's going to go away too.
I don't know if it ever gets easier, but the knowledge that you can come through the other side.
Yeah, you survived it before.
You survived it. It's survivable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's like the key to life, because things will go wrong. Things happen. Hard things will occur in your life. It's knowing that like I've done hard things before and I can do hard things now. And that's like the key to survival, I think.
Second hip surgery will be a breeze.
Oh my gosh, no. I'm going to try everything I can to not have that happen.
So when you have, I'm just interested, I know it's a case-by-case thing for songwriters. Messages, a vibe, a tempo, whatever you've got ready for a song. Maybe you've got like a little chord progression that you haven't like tried out before, but then do you match them like that? You're like, this idea, this feels like, an up-tempo kind of vibe, and I'm going to like pair it with this thing, or I'm going to juxtapose it with something that's actually different and go against what somebody might think? Or is the idea there, and when you start kind of singing about it, the melody and tempo presents itself? How did this one work for you?
I love that. That's so awesome. There's things called sad bops that I love when they're like really, like they feel fun, but they're actually really sad.
Yeah.
This one, honestly, it started off on piano, and it was just the only issue is I miss you when I roll into the middle of the bed. That was the first part that I thought was interesting to me.
Love it.
And I was like, okay. And then you could hear this clock going in the background, and that off the top of the song, and that had me like, okay, I feel like I want it to be a little chaotic at the beginning, and then the progression kind of switches and the chords kind of open up into the chorus, which feels kind of more belty and bigger, and then it goes back into that like faster beat. So I wanted it to feel like dynamic, but I would say with this one, I had a pretty clear idea of what I wanted it to sound like, because I was like, I remember that feeling. It's a little chaotic at that time of night. I wanted to represent that, and I think the production's like kind of unusual, and it's something that I haven't really done before too. Like if you hear that song, you're like, okay, like that's different than Broken Heart Thing. It feels exciting to me.
Did you play it on the piano?
No. I know on the track, but yeah, I can play it on piano.
You can?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the piano.
I play piano like a guitar player, though, which is like the chords. Like you're just jamming your fingers.
I always say I need more piano in my country music.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. It makes everything sound so beautiful.
Yeah,
emotional.
It really does. So, finished product of Middle of the Bed, pretty close to what you like, what you set out to do?
I think so. I mean, my producer of this record, his name's Zach Crowell, and he's done a ton of stuff. And he did Sam Hunt's Montebello record, which is one of the coolest records ever. And so he has almost like a hip hop background.
He is very brave is the wrong word, but I mean, he just like, I'm going and we're doing this.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think at that point too, with that record, he had absolutely no idea what was going on or what he was doing. Like he was just like, this would be cool.
Change the industry.
Mm-hmm. And he's worked with Jelly, and he's like worked with some really cool people. And so I feel like I let him, I'm curious to see what he's going to come up with. So there's always just some weird noises and some like cool things. And I think I had mentioned the clock, and he was like, yes, let's do the clock. And so he just puts that kind of magic on it that really makes it stand out, I think.
Is that, is it easy for you? That's obviously a hugely collaborative thing to like have this thing and then just give yourself over. Obviously, he's got the cred.
Yeah.
Zach's got the cred to do that. Yeah. How do you, if there's an idea that pops up that maybe doesn't wash with what you were going for, how do you tell Zach Crowell not to, that you're like, no.
I mean, he's super chill, and I think if I'm like, hey, can you try this or can you try that, he's super open to collaboration. I will say that I've worked with a bunch of different people, and sometimes you get the first mix back. That's like after you get out of the studio, you record your vocals, the producer has all the different things, they arrange it and they send it, and the first mix is the scariest day, because you're like, either this is going to be exactly what I imagined, or it won't be what I thought at all. And I've had both of those scenarios when you listen and you're like, this doesn't give me the feeling I wanted. And luckily, like, I've just never run into that with him. And him and I always just feel like we're on the same page, which is great.
It's different in music and film. An editor has such a huge influence on what a picture will be like at the end of like a 2-hour story or whatever. But you can go through it like, I don't know, 10-minute chunk by 10-minute chunk. With a song, it's 3 minutes and it's done. When they give you that first demo, or not demo, but when they give you the first pass at it, it's kind of like done. And if you're not on the same page, that has to be horrific.
For sure. Yeah. And sometimes it's like the drums are wrong, and you're like, oh God, that's like a pretty instrumental part of it. Like, did they do another take of the drums? Like, it's awkward and it's hard. But I've learned, the more I've been in this industry a long time, and the more and more that I learn and the longer I've been in it, is just, you need to fight for what you want. It, like, you have to have autonomy, because if there's a level to this, I'm just really grateful to be here, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. That is amazing. And I feel like I'm a very gracious person, but if you don't feel like you belong everywhere, you're never going to stand up for what you want. And so I'm like, hey, I love what you did, but this is my name. This is my album, this is my song, can you please change it? And I haven't always had the bravery to do stuff like that across the board in my career, and now I do, and I'm grateful to have learned that lesson.
You have established yourself in the industry as somebody who's, when you sing, it's your voice, they're your words, it's your creation, it's your art. And I'm assuming that's that is now embedded in who you are and the people that you work with.
For sure.
You know, everybody, like, professionally and everything. Is there an outside song you would cut? Is that a reality?
I would, absolutely. I mean, I love living in Nashville and have just been exposed and been around the most incredible songwriters in the world. And every day when you wake up to write a song, you think about the thousands of other songwriters in that town doing the exact same thing today. And so I think to let an ego get in the way of, like, there might be an incredible song.
Yeah, I don't think it's an ego. And I apologize for the question. I want to take it back because I think it's an unfair question to ask somebody that's established somebody as such you've established yourself as such a unique voice and a singular voice with a perspective and an honesty it's pretty rare, you know, and so, like, of course you're not going to say, no, I'll never work with Nashville songwriters. That wouldn't be a thing that you would ever say.
But there are absolutely artists that prefer to write their own music, and I will say that there's very little songs in my catalog that I haven't written, especially lately, as of, like, whatever, the last 5 years, I've written everything. But I have friends and just, like, incredible writers that I know so many songs, even the artist is a writer on it, but the story is the songwriters. Yeah. And I think that's so amazing. You hear the song and then you hear the writers talk about it, and it's this girl over here. It was her breakup. It was her story. It was her moment, or him or her. And I think that's so cool that it's everybody's stories. Like, you don't know when you're listening to a song whose story it is. It could have been the third songwriter in the room. That's true. But I mean, but if you're a collaborator in the writing part of it, then you're bringing something to the table as well, other than just your voice. Yeah. Totally. As the artist too, I feel like it's like, I have the opportunity to say what I want to say, and that's really a privilege. And so I'm lucky to be there. Speaking of your voice and the voice that was recognized at such a young age, who's been the biggest influence on that? I mean, have you had people, I remember Dallas Smith telling me something about going in and working with Joey Moy and saying that he kind of, like, at the beginning when they were first working together, Joey was like, you got to go home and work on this, then come back when you're ready. Wow. And so he was the guy that challenged him. And I mean, I think Dallas is pretty much accepted as, like, one of the strongest voices out there now, right? As a performer and in studio and everything. Self-taught? I mean, maybe you've worked with some people who's, like, you don't over-sing things. I love listening to you. You kind of, like, you have power when you're quiet. You're not blasting, you know, everything, which is good, too. Like, some people have that thing going on. But there's a delicacy to what you do. Thank you. And, is it self-taught, or is there somebody that came to you and said, let's go this way, helped shape it? I definitely, growing up, went to a few vocal coaches, did, like, vocal camps and stuff like that. I wouldn't say there was one teacher that really, like, you know, shaped everything. Certainly producers along the way are really encouraging and you take something from each producer that you work with. Totally. Like, I love the way you sing the word heart, and it's like, oh, that's really weird. But but I love that. Like, it's like super little things like that. I think I'm also somebody who, like, I love music and grew up, like, almost like copying. So I listened to a lot of Rascal Flatts, for example, and would copy every single one of Gary's runs that he would do. Setting the bar high. Wow. Totally, yeah. But I just thought he was, you know, Rascal Flatts were so great. Yeah. I did have somebody at early on in my career that would say, like, I want you to sit every single night and sing all of your songs for your set every night, and practice them over and over again and record them and send them to me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it's hard, and it sounded kind of bad, and I did it, yeah. But it's like, and that was more just to strengthen your voice, especially when you're on the road a lot. It's like repetition. Let's go, we're going to do ground balls for like 3 hours. Totally. You're going to hit 17,000 tennis balls. Whatever. I remember my song, Neon Love, was really challenging to sing because it's like kind of high and a lot of words and very punchy. And I was like, how am I ever going to sing the song? And now I can sing that song upside down, my eyes closed, because you just have done it so many times. Yeah. Like muscle memory. Totally, yeah. Yeah, that's so exciting. So you're like confident, like whenever you just go up, you just know this is going to be there. Yeah, sometimes. You know, I'm always like, I'm a very anxious person, so I feel like I'm always like trying not to think about, you know, what, is my voice going to crack? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? So I wouldn't say that I'm like, I know I got this every time. No. But not cocky, confident. Cocky, yeah. Yeah, confident, not cocky. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got you. How happy are you with One House Down, with the message right now? One House Down from the Girl Next Door. I mean, out of the gate with Broken Heart thing, just so beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of like putting it together, and the song One House Down from the Girl Next Door, we've got a guitar solo that Keith Urban played, and that came like Dustin collaboration came from me texting Dustin and saying, like, would you sing on this? And the Keith Urban part came from me asking my producer, like, would you just ask him, send him the song? Like, I just feel like the way it's come about was really my vision visually with the butterflies and the evolution. And it's been so cool to see it come to light and all the hard work to kind of be shown through that as well.
There's if people want to check it out, there's the video of Keith recording the guitar solo in studio, and you're like, is this real?
It is.
Is this real life?
Insane, yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, totally.
He's that kind of guy, you know, like
he's the best.
He's developing that a bit of a reputation like Vince Gill has of like Vince is walking by in the studio. What do you need? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Play a line like that for you.
He's just such like a lover of music and wants to, you know, be involved in whatever it is and wants to always play. He's a very special person.
Thanks for doing this.
Of course.
Congratulations on Middle of the Bed. We love the sound of it. The message is great.
Thank you.
You're going to play a little bit for us, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Nice job, you guys.
Thanks.
Are we stools?